20 minutes. Can I ask anyone if there's any questions? I have one that's been submitted already, and as it's anonymous, or seems to be, unless it's from Agripama, I'm thinking it might be a question to Agripama. Maybe Tulio asked it. I'll read it out myself. And it's to Marcelo. You talked about the dreams and how you believe in them and about how you've achieved the first ranking in the Greenpeace scorecard. But the question is, what is your message to those who still doubt the possibility of being sustainable within the RSPO PNCs?
I think there are a lot of people that are still looking for RSPO as a premium product, instead of looking for RSPO in better management, in cost reduction, in market access. So we started this long journey a long time ago, and I can assure you that with RSPO, we really managed to change our company. So we have really a better management today, and we are ready to sell our product without any premium in the market, and we continue to be profitable. So the aim of this is to do things right. So it's not because anyone is asking you. So must you have to look inside of your company, inside you, and ask if you want to do things right. So this is what moves Agripama. We want to do things in the right way.
Are there any questions from the floor? Yes.
My name is Tan Keng Tong. I'm from Citra Borneo, India. I want to direct this question to Jan Misa Dissington from this Fede Palma, Colombia. I think the paper is very impressive. The kind of performance that you have achieved today is wonderful. But I would like to ask, how about the support? Like say, for instance, countries like Malaysia or Indonesia, we are able to get contractors to undertake very large-scale development work. What is the position in this Colombia? Are we able to get all this support? You know, especially like, you know, what I'm referring to is like in Malaysia or this part of the world, we refer to as, you know, contractors.
We've had several missions from Malaysia in Colombia looking for opportunities to develop oil palm. What I get out of those exercises is that many groups, when they go to our countries, they are looking for a government contract to get the land. And that doesn't work that way in our country. Most of the land in our case is private land. And people that go there, they need to develop a strategy to buy land that most of the time is already very much fractionated. So it's very difficult to get a big piece of land. The other thing is that land is becoming a very sensitive issue for many communities. And when they see a large company looking for a big development, you start seeing things that didn't happen in the past. So I feel that our development needs to be approached with organizing smallholders, with medium-sized producers, and with people that will want to develop a plantation in many, many years, not in a few years.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Peter Lim from Bumbi Tama. My question is directed to the two African speakers. Well, as we all know, I think oil palm originates from Africa. I think that everybody has admitted that. Nah? It is from the forests of Africa. Okay, it's known to be a very good, very efficient fixer of carbon dioxide and changing it into palm oil to feed the growing millions. Okay, and also now it's being used as a biofuel as well. Okay, the question is that when palm oil is, when oil palm is planted on the plantation scale, now I think there's a lot of, it's being accused as being causing high GHG emission as well as causing climate change. I think we have to put them in a better way now. Because I think if oil palm is a forest species and is being planted to actually feed the growing population, then I think such accusation of climate change, I think fairly should not be linked to oil palm planting. Okay, because I think if we keep on harping on oil palm as a mean to solve our climate change, then I think the issue of climate change will not be actually be solved, and our climate will keep on being heated up, and if we are not able to even save our climate, our planet. Okay, I think we have to think very seriously about what actually causes climate change instead of targeting palm oil. And if we don't do it in time, I think we really have to look for another planet for our next generation. I would like to get a view from the two African speakers.
Any views? It wasn't a question, but any views?
I think all I could say in general terms is that I think few would deny that large-scale development carries with it the range of opportunities and the range of risks that we've talked about so far today. And the opportunity is there, using RSPO best practice to do that as well as possible, to maximize the good things and minimize those not so good. And that's very much the basis of the RSPO Roadshow, is to simply promote best practice as exemplified by RSPO.
Okay, thank you. Is there another question?
Chairman, since there's no other people asking question, I'm asking for a second time. I like to, my name is Tan Keng Tong. I'm from Citrabonu, India. I want to direct the question to Mr. Jen from this Colombia. You know, from your presentation just now, you know, your minimum wage per day is $24, almost $25 US per day, as compared with Indonesia, which is roughly about 11, and Malaysia, which is roughly 5. So if we put things into perspective, you know, your cost is actually almost 2 times Malaysia, more than 2 times Malaysia, 5 times in Indonesia. You see, I like to share with you, in Indonesia, our cost to maturity, when we develop very high quality plantation, that means start from year 0 until we harvest the fruit, our cost per hectare is roughly 5,000 US per hectare. I don't know whether you can answer this question or not. What would be your cost like in Colombia?
I just can tell you that it's higher. Yeah, we know we are doing this business with smaller margins that you do here in Asia. And that's the real situation we have in our part of the world.
Thank you. Any further questions? Chandran.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I ask Mr. Marcelo, wonderful paper, Marcelo, but your conservation efforts over 64,000 hectares, how much of that is voluntary and how much of that is government regulated or compulsory conservation? And secondly, the cost of conservation, do you get any assistance from the government to conserve, or is it all part of your operational cost?
By law, we should have 40,000 hectares of forests, and we have 64,000 hectares. So 24,000, it's voluntary based. We have no help from the government. This cost us $500,000 per year, and the upfront investments to have the infrastructure to take care of this area costed us $600,000 in the beginning.
Thank you. Is there any further questions? No, it's the end of a long day. Okay, well, thank you. Oh, we almost escaped.
Thank you. Just a question to Arun. I noticed that your population is very small in Gabon. And if you take a ratio of the Malaysian ratio of, say, 1 worker to 8 hectares, or some of the best companies are looking at 1 worker to 10 hectares, you need a lot of labor. I mean, the development phase, I can understand you should be able to mechanize. But when it comes to harvesting, are you going to be dependent on local labor, or will you be dependent on foreign workers or immigrant workers?
Thanks, Mr. Chandran. I think there is an emphasis right now that we will take local labor. We have not experienced any shortfalls for both plantations. In fact, we also have an issue of surrounding villages slightly away from the palm concessions, actually traveling to the palm concessions, or sometimes even moving to the villages closer to the palm concessions. So there seems to be some kind of recognition of the employment opportunities within the concession. But we have projected plans for 15,000 hectares, 15,000 workers, based on some labor projections that we have got done. So I can answer this question. We, of course, will give priority for local labor, but if there is a necessity, we may have to import. But it's very difficult at this stage to actually indicate what kind of ratio of local labor to foreign labor we will have. It's likely to be actually quite, the foreign labor component is likely to be very low.
Thank you. I think we'll bring it to an end there. From my perspective, I think it's been a very interesting session, and we've heard lots of differences between the different areas, but actually they share similar challenges about being in areas where it's difficult to get hold of stakeholders who are engaged in the process. It's therefore difficult to get hold of lessons to learn, but also lessons to share. But I think they also, the situations have faced similar opportunities really presented by the RSPO, creating a framework to bring what knowledge there is together. And I think I'm really heartened by the phrase Neil said about getting it right from the start. And I think that's the real opportunity the RSPO can have in these new frontier areas. So I would like to encourage you all to thank the speakers on behalf of us in the RSPO. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sessions Chair. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.